Hey guys, this is the 4th Gen Gamer bringing you guys a very exciting video for today. We'll be doing top 10 Alola Forms here in Pokemon Sun and Moon, but I'm not alone today.
What's going on, guys? Joedor here, really glad to be here today.
Yes, Joedor will be joining us for this top 10 video. I'm very excited to have him on. He's a good buddy of mine, and he's an awesome dude. Check out his link in the description. I'll have all of his stuff down there, and make sure you guys go check that out after the video is over. Now, like I mentioned, hey, we are doing some Alola Forms today. There are actually 10 total, I guess, evolution lines worth of Alolan Forms, and we're going to be covering all of them today from worst to best. If you don't know what an Alola Form is, pretty much it's an old Pokemon that already existed, like, Exeggutor, and, you know, Game Freak just went, hey, you remember this thing? Well, this is it now. Do you feel old yet? It's a palm tree now. So yeah, that's an Alola Form. It's pretty insane. They introduced it in Pokemon Sun and Moon, and that's why we're covering it, because they're pretty sick, and we wanted to share our thoughts with you on them. Now, split things up. I will be doing the odd numbers, and Joe will be doing the even numbers.
And as always, remember, this is a list of our top 10 opinions. I'm sure you guys are going to have some of your own, and please feel free to leave them in the comments down below.
Before we get things going, make sure you hit the like button if you do want to see more videos like this one on the channel, subscribe if you are new, and go ahead and ring the little bell so you'll get notifications for my upcoming videos, because YouTube has been a little poopy lately with that.
Can we please get 1 trillion likes on this video?
If you know what I'm saying. God damn it.
Alright, let's get started. Coming in at number 10, we have quite possibly the most disappointing Alolan form of a Pokemon so far this gen. We've got Persian and Meowth. Now, I gotta preface this by saying Meowth itself is not that bad. I liked the idea of having Meowth come in as a dark type. It left a little to desire in the move pool, but it didn't really matter because it was a Pokemon you got pretty early in the game, and it had a really nice look. I really enjoyed it. That said, Alolan Persian is derpy. There's no better way to describe it. Persian's got some weird Garfield-like face going on. I really don't get the idea behind its design. Its move pool remains just as bad as regular Persian does, only a couple more dark moves, and to top that all off, its only redeeming factor is its new ability in Fur Coat, which allows it to take half damage from physical moves, but that only applies to physical moves that don't count as contact moves, such as Earthquake. It doesn't stop a super effective, punching move that most fighting types are going to have, and it's already got really pitiful defense and special defense, so it's really not going to be making any major gains in this meta. So when you combine a really poor design with no real gains in the moveset or typing department, it's really easy to slot in Persian as number 10.
Coming in at the number 9 spot, we have Alolan Raticate and Alolan Rattata. Now, these are definitely at the bottom of the list for a few reasons in my book. First of all, probably the biggest one is that they are rather forgettable compared to the other Alolan forms that have something rather really unique or something insane to them. I mean, at least, a handful of them do. These kind of just blend in. They don't feel very special. They still have that feeling of Rattata and Raticate. Both some very forgettable Pokemon unless you're talking about beginning of the game douchebag trainers. Now, when I get an Alolan form in the wild, unless it is an Alolan Meowth, I get a little bit excited at least. When I see Alolan Rattata, if I get Alolan Rattata on the Wonder Trade system, I'm not a happy person about it. I'm really not. I mean, does it look cooler? Is it an improvement over the originals? In my opinion, maybe it is, but is it really cool? Does it have that wow factor to it that really makes me excited about what an Alolan form is? No, it just doesn't do that. It's kind of It's in my book. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? And that's why we have that at the number 9 slot here.
At number 8, we find ourselves with a well-intentioned change on a classic Pokemon that I believe fell just a little short. I'm talking, of course, about Lowland Grimer and Alolan Muk. In previous generations, Grimer and Muk were a poison-type Pokemon designed to pick up and eat toxic waste, which is why they got their purple sludge-like look. In the new generation, they decided to switch that up and say in Alola they don't eat poisonous sludge, but instead they eat straight garbage, which in turn causes them to have the more dark grayish, greenish, oozy kind of look, as well as the added yellow to give it that extra color that, hey, it's not just eating sludge at this point, it's eating, what, piss? I don't know. All I can say is I'm mildly disturbed by the strange trail of yellow slime right around Grimer's mouth. I wonder what he's been up to. And what's with these little stones that you see on Alolan Muk's outer appearance here? Are these supposed to be like teeth or something? Rocks? Like, it's not like you're gonna have a bunch of rocks in a garbage can. I don't know what else they could be. Maybe like pieces of electronics or something like that. At the end of the day, I'm not a huge fan of the design because it's a little bit more of a step towards being a garbage Pokemon, which has already been filled by, you know, Garbodor. And I would have preferred something a little more original. That said, I do like the steps they took towards making Alolan Muk a little more competitive, adding the dark typing to it. While I gave Persian flack for being mono dark type because it doesn't really add much there, in keeping the poison and the dark type with Alolan Muk, you see it cover a lot of weaknesses by having both the poison and the dark type, similar to how Drapion handles it. By being a poison type, it's able to cover its weakness to bug and fighting, and being a dark type, you see it covering the psychic weakness normally associated with a poison type. The only weakness it has left is that it's weak to ground type, but even that can be covered with an air balloon. It still leaves a bit to be desired in the move pool, only really gaining knockoff and crunch, but that is a step in the right direction. I wouldn't be surprised to see Alolan Muk rise a little bit. Maybe instead of being in PU, it might find usage in NU or even RU.
At the number 7 spot, we have a Lowland Dugtrio and a Lowland Diglett. And, you know, honestly, a part of me just chuckles inside when I see this thing. And, you know, I use the word chuckle because it's only a little bit. Because the rest of me inside is cringing so hard looking at Alolan Dugtrio. This ain't Goldilocks, Game Freak. Get that straight. That's a Dugtrio. Why does it have this luscious blonde hair? I can't get over it. I can't get over it, man. I don't know about you guys. But for me personally, and Joe agrees with me on this, I just can't get over it. I can't. Look at the I just look at that. I look at that and I cringe. But it does earn the number 7 spot because that small part of me that I kind of do despise does laugh a little bit. It does laugh. But Jesus, man, no, I can't do it. I can't do it, man. This is Goldilocks. This is not a Dugtrio. I can't. I just can't.
Moving on to number 6, we find ourselves looking at Alolan Vulpix and Ninetails. Now note the top 6 spots were very, very competitive, so depending on who you are, you may be ranking Vulpix and Ninetails much higher than we did, and I totally wouldn't blame you there. For starters, look at Alolan Vulpix. It is way, way cute, even with the ice typing instead of the fire typing. The face remains, it is adorable. Now, I can't really speak much for Alolan Vulpix after that because you get it pretty decently late in the game, so its competitive use is a little irrelevant outside of Little Cup. Now, Alolan Ninetails, for instance, has got some potential to make some good gains here. Now, considering in past gens it already had Drought, which automatically slots it in OU, it's not exactly going to go up or down anywhere in terms of tiering, but because you have the Ice and Fairy type, it is going to revive a sector of the meta that we have not seen for a long time, and that is viable Hail teams. It's got Snow Warning as its hidden ability, which means that it's going to be able to come in and get some hail coming in right off the bat, but also you find it with this new move called Aurora Veil, which essentially makes a light screen and reflect at the same time, granted that hail is on the field. So couple that with the fact that Ninetails is already very high in special defense, and what you're going to see is a very good snow wall, or a very good snow core builder for the new meta, which I think is pretty awesome. Throw in the fact that you get rid of both the ground weakness and water weakness normally associated with Ninetails, and the only thing you're receiving in return is a ×4 weakness to steel, maintaining the rock weakness that it already had and adding a poison weakness, and you're going to see a Pokemon that is very well rounded defensively, and on top of that gets to choose the way it kills dragon types, having gained the fairy typing.
Coming in at the number 5 spot, we have Alolan Marowak, one of those scenarios where its earlier evolution does not have an Alolan form, in this case, Cubone. Now, Alolan Marowak is cool, and I like it for a few reasons. First of all, its design, I like it. It's very cool. It's nothing like insane, but it's cool. I dig it. It's nice. You know what I'm saying? I like it. I do appreciate, I guess that would be the way I would put it, I appreciate the typing that they put on it. The Ghost Fire option was really kind of a curveball when I found out about that. Very cool. I like it, but one of the coolest reasons for me personally was the fire trial on the volcano when you had all those little fuckers dancing around, and then you had like the hiker douchebag come up and start dancing with them, and then the Salazzle, is that its name, right? Dancing around with them. I just found that so amusing, and I have that connection, I have that feeling, I got that connection with Marowak now. I find that very cool, and I appreciate that. I appreciate its design, I appreciate its typing, and it's not the coolest Alolan form in the book, but you know what? It's right up there. It's a solid addition, and I appreciate it. Game Freak, solid like B+ on that Marowak. All right, good work. I like it.
At number 4, keeping with the ice trend set with number 6, we have Alolan Sandshrew and Alolan Sandslash. In previous gens, Sandshrew and Sandslash were a ground type from Kanto that, in my opinion, came out as kind of vanilla, given that all it did really was use Earthquake and Rapid Spin, and on top of that was just kind of, it looked like a hedgehog. There was not much else to it. It looked like a big ground hedgehog. Now, in the new gen in Alola, they added Ice and Steel as their typing, and while it may look less like the animal that they're based off of, I think symbolically it looks better because with an Ice type, you're giving off the image that it's going to be very weak defensively and is thus easy to take advantage of, while a Steel type simultaneously is going to reverse that. So with Sandslash, you're able to say that, oh, it looks weak on the outside, but it's going to be very strong and very defensive on the inside, and that kind of makes the spikes look just a little more daunting than if they were simply ice spikes by themselves. Not to mention that Sandshrew with the little Eskimo hoodie thing on its head looks pretty adorable, not gonna lie. Just be careful when you evolve your Alolan Sandshrew into Alolan Sandslash because its best moves come when it's in the Sandshrew form and does not get learned later on. This includes Iron Head and Rapid Spin, so you definitely want to make sure you wait on evolving your Alolan Sandshrew. Once you have evolved it, a lot of its best moves also come from relearn moves that you can get from the mover learner, such as Icicle Crash, Counter, and Night Slash. Sandslash's usefulness in the current meta comes from being a Assault Vest wielding Rapid Spinner, allowing it to come in, clear out any hazards, and go toe-to-toe with whatever's on the field at the moment. Now, in this case, now that it adds the Ice and Steel type, you obviously don't want to stay in on fighting types, of course, and you may want to avoid any altercations with ground types, but you will be fine if you're going up against water or grass, whereas the previous Sandslash had to worry about it. Unlike Ninetales, where it's going from OU and maintaining in OU just because it has a guaranteed weather move, Sandslash is going from NU, I think, as far as RU or even UU. So, unlike Ninetales, where it's already in a good place, I think Sandslash has a lot of room to grow in the meta.
In the number 3 spot, we have Alolan Geodude, Graveler, and Gollum. This is such a cool trio of Alolan forms. I absolutely love them. I actually am using one in my Moon Let's Play, and I absolutely adore using this thing. I mean, I also have that Z Crystal on it, which makes it even more powerful. It is incredible. But I mean, hey, let's just talk about Gollum for a second. Yo, look at this. Look at this motherfucker. Do you see this facial hair? Do you see this facial hair? Oh my god. That reason alone, I would say, could justify it being number 3 on this list. Oh my goodness gracious. How can you not just fall in love with Alolan Gollum just looking at that? That to me is incredible. And it's Rock Electric type, which, I mean, from a competitive standpoint is not the best at all, really, I don't think, because of, ground type weakness is really bad, but it's cool. Like Rock Electric, that's cool to me, I guess, right? Maybe a little bit, but, okay, whatever. Let me just talk about facial hair more. Just look at the facial hair! That's all I need to say. I don't need to talk about anything else with this thing. I could try talking about typing, but honestly, compared to its facial hair, oh my god. Just look at it.
At number 2, we have what's quite possibly the most underrated Alolan form in the game. I'm talking, of course, about Alolan Raichu, the Alolan evolution for Pokemon's mascot, Pikachu. We may have known Raichu since Gen 1, and being the staple evolution that it has been, it may be a little hard to let the nostalgia go and accept that, in my opinion, this is a drastic improvement over the prior Raichu, particularly with the addition of the Psychic typing, and couple that with the fact that it now is literally surfing on its tail at all points with Psychic powers. I think that's awesome. It would be kind of cool if Pikachu in the anime decided to finally evolve and became an Alolan Raichu, but let's be honest, that's not going to happen. Competitively, Alolan Raichu benefits really well with a partnership from Tapu Koko in that Tapu Koko creates electric terrain automatically, whereas Alolan Raichu doubles its speed on electric terrain. What this creates for Alolan Raichu is a very strong sweeper that can come in after Tapu Koko goes out with a Volt Switch, and if you have Alolan Raichu Z, the Z-Stone unique to Alolan Raichu, you get the move Stoked Spark Surfer, which has a 175 power replacement for Thunderbolt, breaks through Protect, and has a guaranteed paralysis if for some reason the opponent lived, which to say the least is absolutely insane. Couple the cuteness of Alolan Raichu, the badassery of it surfing on its own tail, and an excellent move pull, added psychic typing, and really good combo with electric terrain, and you're looking at a Pokemon that can rise from PU all the way as high as UU or RU, assuming that Tapu Koko does not get banned. That said, it definitely deserves our spot at number 2.
In the number 1 spot, we have Alolan Exeggutor. Oh, yes. Game Freak, I love you. I love you for this. I love you for this so much. You know, this thing is hilarious. It's a dragon, guys. It is a palm tree dragon. And you know what? Game Freak was like, we're doing this kind of like a little Hawaii kind of a thing, right? Yeah. You know what? Exeggutor? Yeah, let's make it into a palm tree and make it a dragon, because why not? Why the fuck not? That is what they said. They were at like a board meeting, like, yo, we need to think of an Alolan form. How do we do this? What would be awesome? And you know what? This random guy in the corner is just like, I have an idea. Let's take Exeggutor and blow him up and make him into a dragon. Yeah, it's absurd. It's insane. But it's hilarious, and I love how freaking funny that is. Like, it's look at it. It brings me joy. My wallpaper on my phone is literally Alolan Exeggutor. It is beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. And if you don't, well, I mean, I guess you have your own opinion, but it's still wrong. This is the only time that an opinion could be okay. Maybe not. Okay, it's still pretty dope though. And on that note, that pretty much wraps up our top 10 Alolan Forms list. What did you think? Let us know in the comments section. Did you think that something was way out of line, something you thought should have been moved somewhere else? Well, hey, let us know your opinion in the comments section. We would love to hear. If you did enjoy this, make sure you hit the subscribe button on my channel, ring the little bell for some notifications, and check out Joe's links in the description. Hit the like button also if you did enjoy, and like I said, please leave some comments on what your favorite Alolan forms are, and even your own top 10 would be much appreciated. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.